The film stars Jake Gyllenhaal and Darkham. Its story follows former U.S. Army Special Operations Sergeant and Afghanistan War veteran John Kinley, who returns to the country to rescue the interpreter who once saved his life from the Taliban. The movie opens with text explaining that after September 11th, the United States deployed around 10,000 soldiers to Afghanistan. 10 years later, the number of U.S. military personnel had increased to nearly 100,000. To support their operations, the military hired local translators who were promised visas for themselves and their families. On a scorching day, Master Sergeant John Kinley and his team conduct a checkpoint operation. A dedicated translator works with another soldier to question drivers about the contents of their vehicles. One driver becomes visibly angry during questioning, drawing the attention of other soldiers nearby. Sensing rising tension, Kinley orders a full search of the truck. Meanwhile, other team members take their positions. Suddenly, the nervous driver attempts to escape. Moments later, a bomb explodes. Kinley and his team mourn the loss of their fallen comrades. With the need for a new translator, Kinley carefully selects Ahmed based on strong recommendations. Ahmed quickly impresses him with his intelligence, calm nature, and determination. Kinley trusts him and believes he will be a valuable addition to the team. With the team complete again, they begin their mission to locate improvised explosive devices. The next day, they patrol the streets and arrive at a building at the end of the road. Ahmed recognizes the location and mentions they may need extra help. Despite this, Kinley decides to move forward. A man hesitantly greets them and eventually allows them inside. To their surprise, the building turns out to be a lounge filled with unconscious people in scattered pipes, overwhelmed by the situation. Kinley sits down, feeling frustrated and defeated. On another day, the team drives deep into the desert. Their intelligence suggests that the Taliban is building explosive devices in that area. A second translator recommends taking a different route because the main road has been damaged by recent rains. Kinley agrees and the team continues their journey. During the drive, Ahmed warns Kinley and urges him to rethink their decision. Kinley brings the convoy to a halt and orders two men to scout the area from a nearby ridge. Another team member establishes contact with aerial surveillance. The ridge appears clear and there is no sign of an ambush waiting for them. As Kinley turns to speak with Ahmed, he is suddenly overpowered by the second translator, who forces him to the ground and presses a gun against his neck. Holding his weapon steady, Kinley orders Ahmed to lower his gun. Ahmed hesitates for a moment but eventually obeys. The second translator then reveals that the Taliban has taken his family hostage. Aerial surveillance confirms this information and warns that Kinley's team was only moments away from walking into an ambush. Back at the base, Kinley learns that Ahmed had volunteered to help the U.S. forces after the Taliban brutally killed his son. This revelation helps Kinley understand Ahmed's motivations more clearly. However, despite this new understanding, Kinley firmly warns Ahmed never to disobey his orders again. Frustrated, Kinley speaks to his superior officer, Colonel Vosk, about the restrictions placed on him. Although Vosk cannot officially support Kinley's desire to operate beyond orders, he also does not stop him. Sergeant O'Brady overhears their conversation and quietly provides Kinley with the one thing he needs to move forward: a name. The team tracks down the individual only to discover that he is a drug dealer. Instead of translating word for word, Ahmed tries to persuade the man through conversation. He offers money in hopes of gaining his cooperation. However, the dealer refuses and even threatens Ahmed, claiming he will harm his family. Carefully judging the situation, Ahmed offers more money. Kinley clearly disapproves of this approach and shows his frustration. After persistent effort, Ahmed finally convinces the dealer to help them. The dealer reveals two locations where improvised explosive devices are being assembled. This information shows that the operation is not based in one place, but spread across multiple sites handling different parts of the process. Kinley and his team move out and strike a major discovery at a desert location. Kinley immediately reports their findings over the radio and backup is promised within 15 minutes, knowing their position is not secure. Kinley decides to push forward. As they advance, the team encounters three men brutally torturing an Afghan civilian. Sadly, they arrive too late to save him. Soon, more Taliban fighters arrive, leading to an intense firefight. One by one, the team members are overwhelmed during the battle. Amid the chaos, only Kinley and Ahmed remain. Kinley and Ahmed manage to escape in one of the Taliban's pickup trucks. They are chased by multiple enemies, making their escape extremely dangerous. Fortunately, US forces arrive in the area, focusing on recovering the fallen soldiers. During their escape, the truck gets a flat tire. With no other option, Kinley and Ahmed abandon the vehicle. They decide to use the surrounding terrain to their advantage, moving through the nearby mountains and forest. Determined to survive, they push deeper into the wilderness while trying to find their way back to base. However, their radios lose signal. Cutting off all communication, with no support, they are forced to spend the night in the harsh mountains. Meanwhile, the Taliban fighters continue their pursuit and inform their leader. He orders them to capture Kinley and Ahmed at any cost. The next morning, Kinley wakes up Ahmed. To their surprise, they pick up a signal on a radio. Realizing this means enemies are nearby, they quickly move toward their base. On the way, they encounter two men in a valley. With no weapons and no time to react, they are forced into a violent confrontation to survive. As they cross another hill, they almost avoid being seen by two men using binoculars. However, at the last moment, they are spotted. With no choice left, Kinley and Ahmed open fire. The sound of gunshots echoes through the canyon, revealing their position. This makes the Taliban fighters close in even faster. They take shelter in a nearby house. Kinley tries to find a way out, but gets seriously injured with gunshot wounds in his leg, side, and shoulder. Ahmed steps in and eliminates the attackers. He quickly takes control of a truck and places the injured Kinley in the back. Using the main road, he drives as far as possible. On the way, three Taliban men stop him. Due to the situation, Ahmed is forced to give them a ride. One sits beside him while the other to climb into the back. Kinley remains hidden under blankets, staying completely still. Ahmed maintains his cover and avoids raising suspicion. Later, Ahmed treats Kinley's wounds as best as he can. He then trades the truck for basic supplies, including medicine, food, and a small-to-heel cart. With great effort, Ahmed begins pushing Kinley through the mountains using the cart. The journey is extremely difficult and exhausting. To protect him from the sun, Ahmed covers Kinley with light blankets. Kinley fades in and out of consciousness during the journey. As night falls, he wakes up in intense pain. Ahmed stays by his side, doing everything he can to comfort him. The next day, Ahmed reaches a high point on the mountain. From there, he is finally able to see the distance ahead. Ahmed finally spots the base a few miles away. Marking a major turning point in their journey, at a small roadside shop he stops to buy water. However, their presence draws the attention of several Taliban trucks nearby. The Taliban fighters approach and begin inspecting the area. One of them checks under the blankets and discovers Kinley. Reacting instantly, Ahmed takes down the Taliban men within moments. Soon after, US forces arrive at the scene. Exhausted and weak, Ahmed is ordered to raise his hands. He is handcuffed and forced to the ground. Ahmed quickly tells the soldiers that Kinley is in the cart. A soldier checks and is shocked to find Kinley still alive. Kinley later wakes up in a hospital, drifting in and out of consciousness. The next thing he remembers, he is back home in Santa Clarita, California. He tries to return to normal life, grilling food for his wife and children. However, there is a visible emptiness in his eyes, showing the trauma he still carries. Kinley learns that Ahmed and his family are in hiding, waiting for their visas to be approved. Determined to help, he reaches out to multiple contacts but faces constant rejection. He spends hours making phone calls only to be placed on hold repeatedly. No matter how many times he explains the situation, he gets nowhere. After spending hours waiting, frustration begins to take over. He eventually turns to drinking, which worries his family. Kinley is told that a background check is required before Ahmed can receive a visa. This frustrates him even more, especially knowing that even a small child is included in the process late at night. Alone in his office, Kinley continues making calls. He repeatedly gets put on hold and eventually disconnected. Overwhelmed with anger and helplessness, he struggles to find a solution. Meanwhile, in Afghanistan, Ahmed is hiding with his wife and their 3-month-old baby. Suddenly, he receives a warning call that the Taliban know their location. The informant tells him to escape through the back door. However, when they reach it, they find a man already waiting outside. Acting quickly, Ahmed's wife grabs their emergency bag. Ahmed hides behind the door and waits. As soon as the intruder enters, Ahmed attacks and eliminates him. They escape through the back just as Taliban fighters break into the front of the house. On the streets, Ahmed blends into the crowd to avoid attention. Searching for safety, the family quickly joins another group at a dinner table, pretending to belong there. Once the area is clear, they quietly move away. They soon climb into the back of a truck and manage to escape once again. Back in the United States, Kinley is finally given another option: hiring a private team. Kinley considers hiring private contractors to complete the mission. His wife suggests taking out a second mortgage on their house to cover the cost. Driven by determination, Kinley pushes forward with the plan. He contacts Colonel Voges and firmly asks him to ensure that the visas will be ready when needed. However, Voges warns him that the Taliban have placed a bounty on his head. Despite the danger, Kinley knows this is the only way for him to find peace. He says goodbye to his family and returns to Afghanistan under the alias Ron K. There he meets the leader of the operation and learns that the plan has changed. A United Nations official is expected in the area, forcing them to delay the mission. Kinley refuses to accept the delay. His only priority is rescuing Ahmed and his family as planned, even if he has to do it alone. With a truck and necessary equipment, Kinley prepares For the mission, he arranges to meet Ahmed's brother for help. When they meet, Kinley learns that Ahmed's brother operates freely because he supplies heroin to the Taliban. Understanding the importance of this connection, the brother agrees to help. He provides Kinley with a driver who knows Ahmed's location. While traveling, they are stopped at a checkpoint. A worker insists on checking the back of the vehicle where Kinley is hiding. As the situation becomes dangerous, Kinley is forced to act in self-defense. Afterward, Kinley and the driver quickly hide the body near a riverbank. However, a Taliban informant secretly witnesses everything. He immediately reports the incident and even captures a photo of Kinley. Realizing the situation, the Taliban leader sends reinforcements. The informant is ordered to follow Kinley and track his movements. The danger increases as Kinley becomes a high-priority target. Meanwhile, Ahmed is repairing a pickup truck while his wife cares for their baby nearby. Several civilians are present in the area. Suddenly, Ahmed hears a familiar voice and turns around. To his surprise, he sees Kinley, who is disguised with glasses and a head covering. Kinley reveals that he has secured their visas. This brings a moment of hope for Ahmed and his family. Without wasting time, Ahmed and his family climb into the back of the truck. Knowing they are being followed, Kinley immediately contacts the private contractors. They quickly begin mobilizing support for the extraction. A background check on the alias Ron K reveals that it actually belongs to John Kinley. Realizing the seriousness of the situation, the head of operations regrets delaying the mission for the UN official. He immediately takes action to correct the mistake. He orders the deployment of a heavily armed support aircraft to Kinley's location. The aircraft is given the codename Angel of Death. This decision shows a strong commitment to ensuring Kinley's safety and completing the mission. Meanwhile, the Taliban send additional forces to track Kinley. Kinley and Ahmed open fire on the nearest vehicle, causing it to crash and block the road. This slows down the Dushman vehicles behind them. As they reach a tunnel, they are forced to abandon their truck. Kinley tells them to position the vehicle inside the tunnel to create a barrier. He places a grenade which explodes just as the Taliban arrive. Kinley and Ahmed move to the other side of the tunnel to stay safe. From there, the driver engages Taliban fighters across the canyon. The distance is significant, but both sides continue firing. Ahmed and Kinley come under heavy attack and return fire. Meanwhile, Ahmed's wife hides with their baby inside a small shelter on the dam. As the battle continues, Kinley runs out of ammunition. The driver is fatally shot during the exchange. Ahmed uses the last bullets in his pistol as the Taliban begin closing in. Just when the situation seems hopeless, the support aircraft arrives. The Angel of Death opens fire and eliminates the attacking Taliban forces. Soon after, a helicopter arrives to evacuate them. Kinley, Ahmed, and his family are safely airlifted from the area. They later board a military transport aircraft heading back to the United States. During the flight, Kinley and Ahmed share a silent moment of respect and gratitude. In the end text appears explaining the difficult reality faced by many Afghan interpreters after the military withdrawal. Many were killed for helping foreign forces while others are still hiding in fear from the Taliban. The story ends here. Thank you for watching this recap. I hope you found it helpful and easy to understand. If you enjoyed it, consider liking the video and sharing your thoughts in the comments. Also subscribe to the channel so you do not miss future movie recaps and content.